We ready to go? Hello, everybody in Brazil. Welcome to this webinar on the University of South Florida. And at the end of this webinar, you'll have plenty of time to, anytime during the webinar, type in any questions and I'll be able to answer those as we go possibly, or wait until the end. First off, my name is Glenn Besterfield. I am a professor of mechanical engineering at the University of South Florida. I also run a program called, I'm the center director for a program at the University for International Students called Into USF, and I'm the executive academic director of that program also. Furthermore, I got a lot of titles. I'm also the vice president for international admissions at the university and global partnerships. With that, before we start, I just wanted to talk just a little bit about Experimento, a company that we've been working with for the past 6 years at the University of South Florida. We've been working with Experimento in Brazil, and it's just my pleasure to give a little introduction about Experimento. When it comes to intercultural exchange, Experimento stands out as a pioneer in Brazil and worldwide. Over the past 50 years, Experimento has become Brazil's largest student exchange organization with more than 30 branches in 13 states, representing the world's best exchange programs with a strong commitment with education excellence in services and total support to students. In the past 5 years, from 2010 to 2014, Experimento was awarded in London with the Star Award Agency Latin American as a recognition for its professionalism and commitment along a half century, 50 years of existence as an educational agency. We're going to go ahead and start now. I'm basically going to do a webinar now on the University of South Florida. I'm going to talk a little bit about the educational structure of American higher education. I'm going to talk then just a little bit about the benefits of studying abroad, why you would choose to study in America abroad, and the advantages of studying in America. And then the majority of the presentation will focus on how to choose a university, and really 6 things that you should be considering when you choose a university. And as I talk about those 6 things, I'm going to be talking about them in the context of the University of South Florida. So, and I'm going to have my glasses on here sometimes they're a little crooked. So, but I just really want to talk about, to start out with, the benefits of higher education in America. And I want to start out with a quote. This was done by a person by the name of Harry Lewis. Harry Lewis used to be the dean at Harvard College. That was the undergraduate portion of Harvard University. Harry Lewis he wrote a book, and the book was called Excellence Without a Soul. And it was subtitled How a Great University Forgot About Undergraduate Education. And that book was actually about Harvard University. In that book, he tries to put it into simple terms what it is about undergraduate education in America. And to paraphrase Harry Lewis, he says the fundamental reason for undergraduate education in America is to turn 18-year-olds into 22-year-olds. To help them find the ideals and the objectives to live their lives by. And when you think about that, it almost sounds a little bit corny, but it's actually very true. Our job in American higher education is really, truly to take a young adult, turn them into an adult, so 18 to 22 years old, to help them find those ideals and the objectives to live their lives by, and to really develop responsibility. So if that's the fundamental job, then why do we have to teach all this accounting and engineering? Well, that's what we call practical knowledge. And every educational system in the world does it phenomenally. And really, there's not a whole lot of difference. Accounting in Russia, learning how to do a P&L and EBITDA, balance sheets, how to do civil engineering in Turkey, how to learn about reinforced concrete, how to do architecture in South America, or to do marketing in China. Every educational system in the world teaches those fundamental principles, or what we call the practical knowledge or the practical skills. They teach it very well, and we all teach it pretty much the same. The problem is That practical knowledge, it can be learned from Wikipedia. It can be learned from the internet. It can be learned from a textbook. It can be learned on your own. So what is truly the benefit of higher education? And in America, what we truly focus on, yes, we focus on the practical knowledge. We have to teach that. When we graduate an accountant, that accountant better understand accounting principles. But what we really focus on in America is not just the practical knowledge, but we practice on what we call the thinking skills. These being the creative thinking, the conceptual thinking, the critical thinking skills, because this is what is going to make you a valuable employee to that company. We also focus a lot on what we call innovation. And I don't want to confuse that with the word invention. They're very different. You can be an invention comes out of maybe engineering or the sciences or scientific discoveries, but you can be innovative in anything. You can be innovative in marketing. You can be innovative in psychology. Any discipline, any field, any career path, you can be innovative. And if in Brazil or in America, if you want to stay ahead and you want to be valuable to your company, you have to develop those thinking skills, and you always have to be innovative. And a lot of historians say this is what really makes American higher education stand out from the rest of the world. We don't copy things in America. We're trying to be the innovators of the world. And that really truly does come from our educational system. The other thing we really try to stress in American higher education is what we call the synthesis of knowledge. And this really does play into the thinking skills and that innovation that we just talked about. What I mean by the synthesis of knowledge is if you're getting a bachelor's degree in marketing, it would be great to take electives in maybe human psychology. Because if you want to be good in marketing, it's going to be extremely important that you understand human psychology. Take some electives in mass media. Take some electives in advertising. This becomes what we call the synthesis of knowledge, bringing different disciplines together. Some people will call it that interdisciplinary aspect. But once again, this is something that we strongly promote in American higher education. And the way we do that is very interesting. Our educational system actually lacks structure. And you might say, that doesn't sound very good, Dr. Busterfield. Many educational systems are set up in a very structured format. Your first year, you do this. Your second year, you do this. Your third year, you do this. Your fourth year, you're going to do this. And then you get your bachelor's degree. American education is not like that. It's very flexible. It's very flexible that general education encompasses the first year. Really, major specific courses don't come until the third year. Electives might be in the fourth year where you can start dual majors. You can get a major and a minor, a major and two minors. This becomes the flexibility that actually creates that synthesis of knowledge, develops those thinking skills, and creates that innovation. And that is truly the benefit of American higher education. So I really just want to talk about the structure of American higher education very quickly. In the world, there's about 18,000 colleges and universities. To put American higher education into perspective, there's about 4,600 in America, colleges and universities. So in America, we have about 25% of the colleges and universities in the world. And when I say America, I'm referencing the United States. However, 25% of the colleges and universities in the world are in America. However, we only have about 3% of the world population, which is actually remarkable. This is a land of higher education. We have small liberal arts schools dotted throughout America, some of them private, some of them very expensive in a lot of ways. We have urban institutions in downtown Chicago, downtown at Los Angeles, downtown any urban city in America, such as New York. We have what we call the publics. We have the private universities. We have very expensive privates. We have very reasonable public institutions. We have what's called metropolitan universities, these not being the urban but in large metropolitan areas. We have what we call the land grant institutions in America, these often being very large, what are called the flagship universities of the states. We have large universities in small college towns in the Midwest. Often these universities are larger than the city themselves. In other words, we really have something for everybody in America. My university, the University of South Florida, is considered one of the national universities. There are only 300 what are called the doctoral national universities in America. Of these 300 doctoral national universities, they're divided into 3 tiers. What's called a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. My university, the University of South Florida, is called a tier 1 national university. There are only about 100 tier 1 national universities out of 4,600 in America. To give you some little bit of name dropping right now, some of the tier 1 national universities in America, the privates, the Harvard, MIT, the Princeton, the Stanfords, the Dukes. There's also a lot of publics that are tier 1 national universities out of this 100 universities. Universities like Purdue University, University of Illinois, University of Michigan, University of California, Berkeley, and the University of South Florida, considered in this top tier of national universities in America. As I go on now, that's just a little bit of background on why study abroad, why come to the United States to study, and a little bit about the structure of American higher education. Now I really want to talk about how you are going, your parents, and working with an educational counselor at Experimento, how you are going to choose a university. And I'm really going to put it down to 6 fundamental things. It's real simple, 6 things. These are in no order. So every student, every parent, every educational counselor might put these in a different order. They might apply different weights to these to come to a decision about where are you going to study in the United States. Let's start with the first one. You're going to pick a university based upon destination, location, and environment. Do you want to be in the south of the United States, in more temperate climates? Do you like the cold weather and you want to be up in the north of the United States? The environment. Do you want to go to a destination, what's called a destination? When I speak of destinations, I think of California, Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York, Boston, Florida. These are destinations, known worldwide as destinations. What type of location? Do you want to be in a small town? Do you want to be in that urban environment I talked about? Do you want to be in a metropolitan environment? So you're going to make a decision based upon destination, location, and environment. You're also going to make a decision based upon the quality of the university. You might look at rankings. You might look at the faculty within a discipline. You're also going to make a choice of a university based upon what do they offer at that university. Not everybody offers engineering. Not everybody offers a bachelor's degree in microbiology or a bachelor's degree in marine biology. Do you want something in the medical sciences? Do you just want a business administration degree, or do you want a specialized degree in marketing or management information systems? So you're going to be looking at the comprehensive nature of that university and maybe the quality of those individual programs. That's the third one. So as we kind of review destination, location, and environment, quality of the university, the programs at that university, then you're going to pick a university, the fourth one being, you're going to pick a university based upon whether you can be admitted. I mean, it would be great to go to Princeton or Stanford, but unless you have the proper GPA and the proper SAT or ACT scores, you're probably not going to get admitted. Do you go through the effort through that application process? So you're really looking at universities where your student profile, your academic profile fits that university. What universities are available to you with your profile? This is where the counselors at Experimento can help you significantly because they know your profile. They know the profile that those universities are looking for. So that's the fourth fourth thing, and I really sum that up, is that university accessible to you from an admissions perspective? The fifth thing you're going to select a university is what I call the student experience. Very important, when you're choosing a university, that you're selecting a university that is going to be home for you for the next 4 years, that you fit in there, that you're a university where you can get involved with that university, you can get engaged with that university. It's not just all about academics. We expect you to enjoy those 4 years, to become engaged and involved, to meet friends, to enjoy your collegiate experience. That's a very difficult thing. You're in Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Brasilia, and you're trying to select a university in America. You're not there. You can't see the university. You can't tour the university. You can't see about all the organizations. This is something where also the educational counselors at Experimento can help you, because very often they've visited that university. They know about the experience in America. But that's the fifth thing. And finally, you're going to choose a university based upon whether you can afford it. So as we look at these 6 things, destination, location, and environment, quality of the institution, the programs they offer at that institution, can I get in? Is it accessible to me from an admissions perspective? What's the student experience going to be like? And then, can I afford it? Now, for some of you, maybe affordability doesn't matter. Maybe you want to go to Florida, or you want to go to California, so the quality doesn't matter, and then price doesn't matter. But most students will look at all of these criteria together to select a university. I'm going to use my son as an example before I talk about my university in this context of these 6 things. My son is a freshman at my university. He's studying engineering. I'm a professor in engineering. I would have loved my son to go to MIT, one of the top 5 universities in the world. They offer mechanical engineering, highly ranked in mechanical engineering in all the engineering fields. MIT's in Boston, Massachusetts, probably the greatest college town in the world, with Harvard, MIT, Boston College, Boston University, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. The student experience there, I don't question it. So that's 4 of the criteria right there. But then we end up with 2 problems. Can he get in? And then, can daddy afford it? Well, my son didn't even apply at MIT, because we know based upon his SAT scores and his GPA out of high school, he was never going to get admitted. Furthermore, can his father afford it? Well, as parents, we'll do everything we can for our children. And I'll sell my house, I'll sell my cars, I'll do whatever it takes. But fundamentally, he was not admissible. So now his whole choices started to change, and he started to look at things from the 6 criteria. So now let me talk about that criteria in the context of the University of South Florida. So destination, location, and environment. We're located in Florida. We're located in Tampa, Florida. It's on the Gulf of Mexico. It's a metropolitan area of about 4 million people. It is the 15th largest metropolitan area in the United States. So if you're looking for a large city, a large metropolitan area, this fits that. It's also in Florida, so this is a very temperate climate. Average temperature is 28 degrees Celsius, so around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Gets very hot in the summer. Beautiful in the winter time. So very similar. It's a tropical temperate climate, very similar to students coming from the Brazil area. University is located on the ocean. It's about an hour from Orlando, about 4 hours from Miami, Florida. It's about 2 hours away from the NASA Kennedy Space Center, which is the largest concentration of engineering and high-tech jobs anywhere in the world. City of Tampa, often considered one of the most modern cities in America, one of the cleanest cities in America, and one of the best outdoor cities in America. Overall, when we look at destination, location, and environment, a great choice in coming to the Tampa Bay area of Florida. So that was that first point. Now as we move into the next criteria, which is really the quality of the institution. University of South Florida was founded about 60 years ago. We are considered a doctoral Research One university, a national university in America, one of only 300 national universities. Furthermore, we are considered a Tier 1 national university. Only 100 universities in America have the designation Tier 1. And I gave you some of those names a little bit earlier. We are ranked number 41 in America in sponsored research. This really, you might say as an undergraduate student, well, how does that affect me? Well, it affects you in a lot of ways. It affects you. You do have the ability to do undergraduate research, but it really, when we talk about a ranking of top 50 in America in research, that is an indicator of the quality of the faculty. And when we talk about the quality of the university, we can always use rankings, but one of the greatest indicators of the quality of your degree is to look at the quality of the faculty. So if you want a bachelor's degree in marketing, I strongly suggest you go to the marketing website and you look at the faculty in the marketing department. Look at where they graduated from. Look at their scholarly work. Look at any consulting they're doing with Fortune 500 companies. This gives you an indication of the quality of your education. You know, I can speak to engineering at USF, and out of about the 120, 130 faculty members in engineering, we probably have 10 PhDs. 10 of our faculty got PhDs from MIT, another 2 or 3 PhDs from Caltech. I and 2 other faculty members I know of got our PhDs from Northwestern University, which is basically top 25 in the world university. So you're really looking at the quality of the faculty. And when you look at a research university, that is an indicator of the quality of the faculty. At USF, we have 42,000 students on our Tampa campus. Of that, about 75% are undergraduate. We have about 10,000 master's and PhD students also. Of our 42,000 students, we have about 4,000 international students, representing about 130 countries in the world. A little bit about the quality of the university from a rankings perspective. U.S. News and World Report, out of the 4,600 colleges and universities in America, ranks us number 156 national university in America. And you might say, well, that's not real high, Dr. Besterfield. Well, 4 years ago, we were ranked 181. 3 years ago, 173. 2 years ago, 171. 1 year ago, 161. This year, 156. We gained 25 points in the rankings in 4 years. No other university, national university in America did that. It was the largest gain of any university, national university in America. Times Higher Education ranks us top 250 in the world institution out of over 18,000 universities in the world. Times Higher Education, that's done by the United Kingdom, ranking the universities in the world. That places us top 90 in America, universities in the United States. The interesting thing about that ranking, though, they rank us number 250, top 250 in the world, but last year they ranked us top 275 in the world. Academic ranking of world universities ranks us top 300 in the world, but when you actually look at our actual ranking, we're ranked about about number 230 in the world. U.S. News and World Report. Last year, they ranked us number 299 in the world. This year, 275 in the world. So a well-ranked world university, basically top 250 in the world and top 100 in America. Furthermore, a university that's passing other universities. And this is really the important thing. A university that's getting better and better every single day. So that was kind of that second criteria. Destination, location, and environment. Quality of the institution. And then what do you offer? Well, at University of South Florida, we basically offer everything. We offer all of the degrees in medicine, bachelor's through PhD and MD, Doctor of Pharmacy, Doctor of Physical Therapy, degrees in biomedical sciences, degrees in medical sciences with concentrations, bioinformatics, biotechnology, biostatistics, molecular medicine, cancer biology, everything in the medical area. We also offer all of the degrees in nursing from the baccalaureate through the PhD. We offer degrees in public health, Degrees like healthcare administration, healthcare management, bachelor's through PhD. Degrees in immunology, epidemiology, master's degrees in public health, degrees like world health. Our College of Public Health is actually ranked top 20 in America. We offer all of the degrees in engineering, the fundamental degrees at the baccalaureate level, like mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, industrial engineering, chemical engineering, and computer engineering. We also offer computer science, management information systems, and information technology. At the master's and PhD level, offer all of those degrees, but more specialized degrees, such as biomedical engineering, environmental engineering, engineering management, material science and engineering. We offer all of the degrees in the life sciences and natural sciences. And as I stated, we just don't offer biology degrees. We offer degrees in cell and molecular biology, degrees in integrative biology, marine biology, microbiology. So basically even look at chemistry. Many universities will offer bachelor's degree in chemistry. We offer bachelor's degree in chemistry, but then concentrations in biochemistry if you wanted to go to pharmacy school. We offer all the degrees in business. So at the undergraduate level, fundamental degrees in international business, general business, management, marketing, advertising, finance, management information systems, and accounting. At the master's level, many universities just offer the MBA, but we offer that, but we offer the specialized master's degrees, which are really becoming more powerful these days. Degrees like entrepreneurship, master's degree in finance, master's degrees in marketing, management information systems, etc. We are comprehensive also. So we offer degrees in all the visual and performing arts, degrees in art studio. We offer degrees in dance, modern dance and ballet, degrees in theater production, theater set design, theater performance, all the degrees in music, performance and composition, from piano and violin all the way through vocals. We also offer all of the degrees in what I call the ologies. The liberal ideologies being anthropology, psychology, sociology, etc. All the degrees in the humanities, the world languages, and the liberal arts. We also offer the degrees in the mass media and mass communication, such as production. That can be video, music, or movie production, public relations, broadcast news, journalism type degrees. And more recently, we started offering degrees in not only cybersecurity, but also degrees in global sustainability. And this can be anything from technology sustainability, infrastructure sustainability, water sustainability, economic sustainability, tourism sustainability, etc. We are basically what we call a comprehensive university that offers all of the options for students. So that was the third thing. Now, as we look at the fourth criteria you're looking at is basically, is that university accessible to me? Can I get admitted? And we have become very flexible in our admissions process for international students. We have a couple programs. We have one program called direct admission, that is at the undergraduate or graduate level. For direct admission, we do require a 3.0 out of a 4.0 GPA in your high school or bachelor's degree. And then we also do require test scores to go along that. So SAT or ACT for undergraduates, and GRE and GMAT for graduate students. However, we are very reasonable in those scores, and I'll show you some of those scores. I'll talk about those in a second. For those students who don't test well, don't want to take tests, such as SAT or ACT, we can still admit you through what we call our pathway programs. And we can admit you without SATs and ACTs. We can admit you with potentially lower TOEFL scores and IELTS score. We'll take our TOEFL score down to a 60. You might be taking some English courses while you're taking academic courses with American students, so we can strengthen your English. So we've become very flexible in this regard for international students, trying to provide opportunities to them and support them in that transition, because the transition to American higher education can be a challenge. It can be a challenge academically, socially, and also culturally. And we're really trying to support you during this admissions process, especially if you might not have those high SAT scores or the high GPA. So briefly about undergraduate admissions, and this would be direct admissions. Out of the SAT, which is on an 800-point scale for reading, writing, and math, we're really looking for a 500 in each one of those categories for direct admission. and then a 3.0 GPA. Is what we're looking for, and we will convert your GPA from the Brazilian scale, or if you're in an international baccalaureate or different programs, we convert that to a GPA, a 4.0 of what we call an American GPA. If you have good SAT scores in the 500s, we don't require a TOEFL or IELTS, and that is direct admission to the university. We can also admit you into our pathways as an undergraduate student. We'll admit you with a 2.5 GPA, and no SAT, ACT, and we'll go down to a lower TOEFL score of about a 60 TOEFL or a 5.5 IELTS. For graduate admissions, those of you who might be interested in graduate admissions, we're once again looking for a 3.0 out of a 4.0 GPA in your baccalaureate degree. And then depending on the program, we're looking for GRE or GMAT. Typical GRE score is out of a 340 points. Engineering, every program at the university would look for a different GRE score. Engineering programs might look for a 305 or a 312. Something in the sciences like biology might be looking for a 300. Something in the liberal arts might be looking for a 290 or something like that. If it's a business program, they look for a GMAT score. GMAT is out of 800, and all of our business programs look for a 500 GMAT, unless it's finance or management information systems, and they're looking for a 550 GMAT. For direct admission, they're also looking at what I call the holistic components. Those holistic components might be statement of purpose, recommendation letters, things like that. But for graduate admissions, we also have the pathways running, so we can admit you with lower TOEFL scores, guaranteed admission with a certain GPA, and no GRE or GMAT. So that was the fourth thing. So as I kind of review, I'm going to keep on using my fingers here. Destination, location, and environment. Quality of the academic institution. What is that university offering? What's the quality of those programs? Can I, as a student, get admitted to that university? And hopefully I've really emphasized those points and given you solid evidence that USF is a great choice in all of this criteria. That fifth criteria is what I call the student experience. And I will tell you, this is the hardest thing to judge. As I alluded to earlier, you want to find a university that you're going to feel at home with. That's going to be your home for the next 4 years. That's where you're going to mature as a young adult, from a young adult into adulthood, develop those responsibilities, the ideals and the objectives to live your life by. You need to find a university that you kind of fall in love with. And I can guarantee USF is one of those, but the student experience, the involvement, the engagement on campus is really second to none in America. To give you some examples, we have over 600 student clubs and organizations on our campus. I'm not sure if there's a university in America that can say that. Everything from a salsa club to a Russian club to a Latin American club. I just sponsored a new Thailand Student Associations club. They now have about 20 members of that club. So multicultural clubs. We have social clubs, fraternities and sororities. We have professional organizations. If you want to get involved in engineering, we have a Society of Automotive Engineers. They build a Formula race car every single year and compete it. And they compete it internationally. So these are those professional organizations you can get involved with. And this becomes part of that whole student experience. Our campus rec center, I always say to students, you're no good to me as a student unless you take care of your mental and your physical health. Your mental health. You need to go to a movie, enjoy yourself on the weekends, go to the beach. You can't study 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to enjoy the experience. Physically, you got to take care of yourself. Our campus rec center was voted the 11th best in America. Out of all the universities in America, this facility is phenomenal. It's the facility we as a university provide to our students to enhance that student experience. I guess I can sum it up so many ways, but a couple final thoughts on the student experience. Go to the web, look at it, look at videos out there from students, go to Facebook and talk to other students. Join the Latin American Student Association on Facebook. Talk to other students from South America. about what is the experience like at USF. But I like to sum it up. Every semester, we have intramural sports in America at most universities. On our campus, every semester we have a soccer tournament. We have over 600 soccer teams competing in that tournament. It could be a team, one team could be all Brazilians. It could be half Brazilians and half Americans. You could have one Brazilian on a team and 14 Americans on a team. So this is a university-wide soccer tournament, intramural sports. But this is where you get involved and engaged with the university campus. You know, just to kind of sum it up, and I know many of you probably don't play golf, but this kind of gives you an indication about how serious we are about the student experience on our campus. We have an 18-hole golf course on campus for students. And that is how serious this university is about the student experience. We want these 4 years to be the best 4 years of your life. Yes, get a degree, learn accounting, learn marketing, learn engineering, get that practical knowledge, but get those soft skills, the thinking skills, get that innovative spirit, and enjoy yourself during the process. And that's that student experience. So that's the fifth thing I really wanted to discuss. But there's that last thing. And that last thing is what wait a minute. I want to pause on the student experience one more, because I do have, someone took my piece of paper from me. Where's my piece of paper? Hold on, everybody. Oh, nobody took it from me. I hid it from myself. I want to talk to you just a little bit about the demographic of our student body. We have about 4,000 internationals on campus. You know, about 1,500 of them are undergraduate. We got about 600 doctoral students, about 1,000 master's students, et cetera, things like that. We have 90 Brazilians on our campus. Brazil is actually the 6th largest nationality on our campus. Of course, China and India being first and second. Saudi Arabia and Oman, a couple Middle Eastern countries, are third and fourth. Our 5th largest country on campus with over 100 students is Venezuela. 6th largest is Brazil. We have about 60, and that's 90 Brazilians on our campus. We have about 69 Colombian students on our campus. From Jamaica, 73. As you look at the Latin American, Caribbean area, Trinidad and Tobago, over 50 from Trinidad and Tobago. You look at the Bahamas, over 50 from the Bahamas. From Peru, 44. As you look at Honduras, 24. Barbados, 23 students. As you look at the whole Latin American, Central South American, Caribbean area, we probably have about 500 students on our campus from some type of Latino background. Out of the 90 Brazilians, 13 are from Sao Paulo. We have 7 from Rio de Janeiro. Amazingly, 11 from Curitiba, and then less than 5 or 6 from many other cities throughout Brazil. Of those 90 students, 19 of them are graduate students. Of the 90, 71 are undergrad. So it's mainly undergraduate students. And I'm going to talk about this next. And this is really about pricing, but I want to mention it before we have the ability at the University of South Florida to give students from Brazil, very good students from Brazil, so this is based upon academic merit. We have the ability to give them in-state tuition. And to give you an idea of that, out of the 71 undergraduate students from Brazil on our campus, 25 of them have in-state tuition that we have granted them because of their academic strength. And that's really what I'm going to talk about next. So I've talked about those 5 factors once again, and now I'm going to get to that 6th one, which is basically affordability. Out of the top 200 national universities in America, there are only two that are less expensive than the University of South Florida. Our undergraduate tuition at the University of South Florida is $17,325 a year. To put that into perspective, NYU, Columbia, Harvard, Princeton, Berkeley, Stanford, you name it, are all over $45,000 a year. Even many of the great public institutions in that list of those tier 1 universities I talked about. University of Michigan, all the University of California schools, $35,000 a year tuition. Our tuition is $17,000 a year. In fact, we have not raised our tuition in 4 years. And actually, about 6 years ago, it was $16,000. Now it's $17,000. So really, over the span of 6 years, we have had minimal raise in tuition. We're trying to keep our tuition affordable for international students. Furthermore, we also do scholarships. So just briefly about some scholarships for undergraduate students. If you score well on SAT, I could potentially give you a scholarship of half the tuition. Tuition $17,000. I'll give you $8,000 a year scholarship if you say got a 1200 on the SAT. And we publish all of these requirements. If you have a good GPA, like a 3.8 GPA out of a 4, and you get a 1200 on the reading and writing, we'll give you a scholarship of $8,000 a year for 4 years, renewable each year, pending continuation of a good GPA of a 3.0 during your 4 years. For our pathway programs, although our tuition is $17,000 a year, for our pathway programs, we charge $24,000 a year. For the first year, the second, third, and fourth years would be $17,000 a year. I do have scholarship money for those pathways to help close that gap between $24,000 and $17,000 though. So we are extremely affordable. So as you look at that criteria, look, I know I've been doing this job for a long time. I've talked to thousands of students. I've met with thousands of educational counselors, and I talked to thousands of parents. And when it comes down to making a decision or talking to an educational counselor at Experimento and getting their advice, it comes down to 6 questions. Destination, location, and environment. Quality of the institution. What are the programs offered and the quality of those programs at that institution? Can I be admitted to that university? What is the experience going to be like for me over the next 4 years? And am I going to fit there? And am I going to find that to be my home? And finally, can I afford that experience right here? That's how you will make a decision. And in all of those categories, the University of South Florida scores phenomenally well. And with that, I have used up my 40 minutes. And now what I'm going to do is I have some questions here. So let me answer some questions for you. Is it possible to work during my studies? If so, is it easy to find a job? Paolo, you are allowed, okay, I'll talk a little bit, I'll give my 2-minute speech on work. During your studies, you're allowed to work 20 hours a week on campus. That's during the semesters you're in school. In the summer, you are allowed to work 40 hours a week, so full time. You will be able to work on campus in places like library, dining services, some departments, campus rec center, some of the facilities will hire students. It can sometimes be difficult to get a job on campus. You have to be persistent. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every student's going to get a job on campus. During your studies, though, you're allowed to do what's called CPT. That is called curricular practical training. In other words, after you've been at the university for 1 year, degree seeking, you are allowed to do internships, paid internships. Those actually are easier, in my opinion, sometimes easier to get than on-campus work. So the summer, an internship, especially in certain fields, many of the business fields, especially if you can get into accounting, management information systems, finance, some of those areas, all of the engineering, anything in the information sciences, IT, computer science, great opportunities for internships in the area during summers, even co-op experience where you take a semester off and go and do curricular practical training. After graduation, depending upon your major, you are allowed to work in the United States on your student visa for 1 to 3 years. If you are in one of the STEM areas like science, technology, engineering, or math, and this includes degrees like management information systems, very popular in America, IT, IS, those type of degrees, you're allowed to stay for 3 years in America working for a company on student visa. If after that 3 years, that company or companies that you've worked for really wants to keep you, very often those companies will have lawyers on staff to help you apply for an H-1B1 work visa. The difficulty, and I'm not going to say the problem, the difficulty getting the H-1B1 work visas is that there's a quota system in America. And very often it's the powerful companies in America that get those visas. So my advice always is to students, if you really want to stay on, do your OPT and potentially go H-1B1 work visa for 3 years, for a total of 6 years, 3 years each on the H-1B1. Try to get with a large company in America because very often they are able to get a lot of those visas out of the quota system. So hopefully that answered your question. Aline, I'm finishing high school in Brazil this year, but I still don't know what I want to study. I've heard that there's a course in the U.S. called Undeclared. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful thing about it, I don't like to criticize other educational systems, but so I always am a proponent of America as it truly is the greatest educational system in the world. Many educational systems in the world, when you apply as a finance major, and you can't even apply as undeclared. And then when you arrive there, if you find out you don't want finance, you cannot change. That is not the American education system. We will allow you to enter the university as undeclared. We will also allow you, let's say you want to do mass media. You can declare mass media or mass communications. If over the first year you find out, hey, I don't like that. I really want to do marketing and advertising, which is similar to mass media, but I want to do, you can change your major. It's okay. You could change, you can start in engineering and you're like, wow, this physics is tough. You could switch to maybe accounting or finance. It's perfectly fine. In fact, you can switch up through your 4 years until you graduate. You could switch. I don't recommend that, and nobody will advocate for that. If you change your major after the second year, there's a high likelihood you will not graduate in 4 years. You might not even graduate in 5 years. Try to keep your major changes within the first year or the first year and a half. You can also come in undeclared, and the reason you can come in undeclared is almost every American university during the first year, it is what we call general education. That means every student takes 2 math courses, 2 science courses, 2 English courses, 2 social sciences, 2 humanities, a fine arts course, maybe a diversity. It's general education, which very often applies to all the majors across campus. So yes, you can come in undeclared, declare your major during your first semester, your first year. You can change your major. Some students come into a university and they say, well, I want to get a degree in business, but I'm not really sure if I want finance or marketing. It's okay. Come into the university, declare business. Your first year is general education. Your second year is what we call the core business courses. All business students, whether you're finance or marketing or management, they all take the same thing. They all take managerial accounting, microeconomics, macroeconomics, financial accounting, business statistics, principles of finance. They all take the same thing. At the end of the second year, you decide, hey, I really want to go finance, or I really want to go marketing. Same goes for engineering. You enter the university as an engineering student. First 2 years, all engineers basically take the same thing. A little English, some general education, a lot of calculus, a lot of physics, and a lot of chemistry. About halfway through the second year, you decide, hey, I really want to do civil engineering. I really want to do electrical. So yes, there's the flexibility to declare your major down the road, really usually about a year down the road, change majors, come in undeclared, etc. The thing you got to be cognizant of is don't delay the decision too long, because if you do, there's the high potential you will graduate in 4.5, 5 years. This is where the academic advisors will really help you out. And you can help yourself out. Just research. explore a little bit. Take that psychology course as part of your social sciences. Take an anthropology course. Take a course in, I don't know, political science. Hey, or take a course in like pre-law or something. Hey, do I really want to be a lawyer? I'm not sure. So this is where it's incumbent upon you to take a little bit of the initiative also. But also, things will just play out. You'll start to talk to a lot of business students and, join a business club. Join the business club. Go to some of their meetings. Find out what it's like. Find out about their networking with local companies, things like that. Okay, regarding English skills, do I need to take a TOEFL or can I take an English test in one of the experimental stores in order to get to know my level? Yes, Experimental, I believe, offers something called the password test. That might be an option. We accept either the TOEFL, the IELTS, or the PTE, Pearson Test of English. Actually, I'm very much an advocate of the Pearson Test of English. You can take the test. You get your results back in about 2 days. I'm just an advocate of that test now. We accept a 53 for direct admission, but I think we'll go all the way down to a 44 on that test for our pathway admission. Giselle, only in English, ? I have no idea what that means, Giselle.
I think she's asking if the courses are only available in English or if it's available in another language.
No, all of our courses are taught in English, Giselle. No, we don't offer, we offer the world languages at our university, but no, all courses are taught in English, and that is on every American campus. I don't think you'll find courses, the curriculum taught in Spanish or Portuguese at any American. And in fact, Giselle, I will tell you, I travel the world and I work with a lot of universities throughout the world. And I will tell you, many universities throughout the world, China is a great example. Italy is another great example. Italy came out with a government decree about 2 years ago, where their decree was they want every university in Italy to teach their entire curriculum in English. The Chinese universities are starting to develop their entire curriculums in English. I work with a university in Colombia, University of Del Norte. All of their curriculum in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th year is all done in English. And the reason should be obvious, but it's really about, if you want to compete, if Brazil wants to compete in this world, if you want to compete in this world, you better know English. It is the de facto language of education. It's the de facto language of science and engineering. It's the de facto language of commerce. And you will make more money. You will aspire to a higher career. You will climb the corporate ladder faster, the better you know English. So hopefully that answered your question, Giselle. And if I don't have any other questions, thank you very much. And I would just like to say that, what am I supposed to say? That please go to the Experimental website and you will see where they have all of their events listed. They'll also have some scholarships listed, and you'll be able to pass this webinar. You can look at this webinar again there, pass this on to some friends, and please work with the counselors at Experimental. They've sent numerous students to my university. They actually know the admissions process very well and can make it a smooth experience for you. Thank you, everyone.